Hey everybody, welcome to the next installment of Priceless B-Movies. I'm your host, Colin Price, and for my first review I did Night of the Demons, which is a fantastic movie. For my second review I did Night of the Demons 2, which is a great, entertaining, fun, gory movie. Now I'm going to do Night of the Demons 3, which is the other one. Night of the Demons 3. This is our third trip to Hull House, where we will see yet another group of teenagers get killed off in different ways by the demon Angela. Angela is once again played by Amelia Kincaid, and she's really the best part of this movie. It's not necessarily a great thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that there really aren't too many great things about Night of the Demons 3. I feel like I do have to give some credit where it's due. On paper, I'm sure that this looked like it was going to be really good. They do try to take the story in a different direction from the first two. Whereas in the first two films, you had a group of teenagers who were going to Hull House because they wanted to have a Halloween party, and it was just kind of a dumb idea. In this film, they're not really at Hull House on purpose, they're kind of forced into it. Without giving away too much, one of these kids ends up doing something really stupid, thinks that he's killed a police officer, so now they are holding up at Hull House because they figure who's going to come to the dusty old haunted place at the end of town. Once the kids are at the house, though, it really is a very run-of-the-mill story. That's kind of where the creativity stops. Now they're in the house, now Angela's caught them, and now she's going to either seduce, possess, or kill them all one by one. Another thing that's pretty unfortunate about this movie is the actors involved, the actors playing the teenagers. I've honestly never heard of any of them before this, and there's only one of them that I remember seeing in anything else. His name is Christian Tescher, and he plays kind of the geek of the group. And I recognize him from several episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark, because I used to watch that show all the time on Nickelodeon growing up. There are a couple of neat ideas scattered through the script. For example, the demon makeup in this movie is a lot more suited to the different characters. Because it's Halloween, one of them has this rubber devil mask, another one has this snake sock puppet, another one has her face painted like a cat. And so when they transform, it's kind of like these objects foreshadow. Now we have a devil. Now we have a girl with a snake for an arm, and now we have this kind of cat people creature. Ideas like that are nice, but they're not presented very well. In fact, in terms of what I would call high points, this movie really only has 3 of them. The first of these things that I really like about the movie is a detective character played by, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Vlasta Vrana. I have no idea who that is, but on the case for the film it actually says special appearance by, so I'm sure there's some circle who knows, people who know who that is. What I like about this detective character is that while all this zany, demonic horror slasher movie stuff is going on, he plays everything so straight. He almost seems like he thinks he's in a Dirty Harry film or an old film noir. And it works so well when, toward the end, you have his character trying to communicate with the demon characters and trying to deal with the crazy stuff that's going on. The second of these points that I'm going to make is that while some of the digital and visual effects are a bit off in this movie, they do look very 90s low budget, the makeup effects in this film are fantastic. I actually think the makeup in this film is more convincing than the makeup in the first 2 movies. The third high point of this film, I think, is Amelia Kincaid herself. You could argue that after 3 movies, she could pretty much play the role in her sleep, but she's the one thing driving all the entertainment value of the film. These kids in this film, the teenagers, are not that likable. They're not, you really do just want them to get killed off. And because of that, the best scenes in the movie deal with her just mowing them down. Speaking of the kills in this movie, this time around I don't want to say they're more predictable, but they're definitely a little more half-assed. We don't really get the creative death scenes that the first two had. There's only one that I think really sticks out in the third movie, but unfortunately, they did the same exact thing 2 years earlier in the Alien movie Species with Natasha Henstridge. At the end of the day, I'm going to give Night of the Demons 3 1.5 out of 4 stars. I think other than Amelia Kincaid's kind of Freddy Krueger-ish performance in this one, and some great makeup effects, there just isn't a whole lot about the third Night of the Demons that I think you could recommend to somebody. I think it's very unfortunate that the first two films were so good, and this one just fell so short. And you could blame it on the script, you could blame it on the direction, you could blame it on a lot of things, but ultimately I think that the problem was they really just wanted to cash this thing out. They really just wanted to just do another one for the hell of doing it. And it shows. There's a lot of laziness, quite frankly, that shows in this third film. So that's my review for Night of the Demons 3. Stay tuned to Priceless B Movies. Next time I will be reviewing the 1985 horror comedy Vamp, starring Grace Jones and a couple other people. And as always, if there is a horror, crime, or action movie or anything of that ilk that you think kind of slipped through the cracks and that you would like to hear my opinion on, please let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Priceless B Movies.